Yeah, Cliff, why not just say I have no interest in the Oklahoma job?
Yeah, I just, like I said, we're in season. We're 9-2. Just not a topic I want to touch on right now.
A far cry from Mike Tomlin's angry reaction a few weeks ago when he was asked about the possibility of becoming the next coach at USC. You know, once he sees what Lincoln Riley's getting at USC, he may be thinking, why didn't they give me a phone call? I didn't know that they were paying that kind of money to a college coach. So, sorry, USC, is it too late? So, Cliff Kingsbury knows what he's doing here. He's got 1 year left on his contract. He was on the hot seat entering the season. He's going to try to leverage what he's done so far this year with the Cardinals into a new deal with the Cardinals. Or, Chris, hey, maybe he just goes. Maybe Oklahoma makes him an offer he can't refuse.
They could.
That's the thing we have to keep in mind here as we talk about these college jobs, where I think it's going to be easier to justify paying even more obscene money to the coaches because now the players can make money, but not from us.
That's right.
We don't have to pay them. Somebody else is paying them.
Yeah.
So we no longer have to feel guilty about cramming even more money into the pockets of the coaches because the players can go get paid by someone else.
Yeah, well, it's big business, college football, as we know, and you're right. I mean, the players aren't being paid, so the school only has to worry about one thing, paying coaches, as far as that's concerned, and there's not a bigger moneymaker for any of these schools than football. So, yeah, they're going to continue to up the ante to get these guys. And there's some huge money right there right now in college football. It is. It's just, to me, it's a question of guys like, Cliff Kingsbury. Okay, yeah, he's got a little bit of a college background. Maybe he'll be more accepting, and it's certainly going to perk other guys up in the NFL as far as, like, what they're making. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I still think you're going to have a faction of NFL coaches who are going to go, I just can't coach in college football. It doesn't matter. I'll take a few $1 million less because, of course, coaching in college football is different. Schematics it's amateur. I can watch a college game on film and go, it's the same coverage, 78 out of 80 plays. There's nothing there. That's going to frustrate a lot of coaches in some ways. And then I think the other thing, too, is, for an NFL coach, life is, of course, very intense during the season. But, man, the offseason with the rules right now, it's not intense. These guys are looking for things to do. College never shuts off. You're a babysitter all year long. You got to talk to mommies and daddies and make sure this kid goes to school. And to me, and I just know with some other friends in the NFL where they'd go, crap, I'll make $7 million a year instead of $10 million a year to not have to go do that crap. And that's going to be the fine line. But, man, this is certainly going to make some people think as we go forward here because of the big money, like you said, being thrown out by these schools.
Yeah, the report yesterday that emerged is $110 million for Lincoln Riley. USC is buying both of his homes in Norman for $500,000 over the asking price. So
holy
that's
crap! How many
$1
years was it? 110? Is it?
I think it's 10 years. I think
wow.
It's 10 years, 110.
Damn! Screw this job. I'm going to get into college coaching.
Buying a $6 million home for him in Los Angeles, which in Los Angeles, a $6 million home. I mean, maybe a bungalow somewhere, and
right.
Unlimited use of private jet 24/7 for his family.
Holy crap!
Yeah, so it's a good deal. That's why he left.
Yeah.
And that's why Brian Kelly is going from Notre Dame, where he supposedly was making $2.7 million per year, to LSU. Reportedly, the announcement is expected today. He's reportedly going to make $15 million a year. $15 million a year.
That's no brainer.
I'm sorry, Notre Dame.
I know.
I love you.
Right.
I love you. But if they're going to quintuple my salary plus 2.7, 15. If you just come close, maybe I'll stay. If you could just get to 10, maybe I'll stay. Even if they get to 10, do you say no to 15 for the same damn job, just in a different place? How can you justify that if you're Brian Kelly?
No, you can't justify it. You're exactly right. It's not a good look for Notre Dame. As much as I love them and respect them, and, man, am I into it, and having worked there, I have more respect for it. But, man, you're Notre Dame. Somebody's leaving who's had success at your school to go to LSU, right? I mean, yeah, Notre Dame's got to change their ways a little bit there. They're going to have to start upping the ante, getting into. They want to keep some of these guys. First off, the Notre Dame, there's still incredible luster there, but some of the luster is worn off too because people realize it's hard to go win a national championship at Notre Dame because of the school. LSU. I'm being funny here, but if you have a pulse, you can get into LSU. At Notre Dame, you better have good grades and a good SAT score. You're not getting in there. I'm just sorry. So you're handicapped to a degree when you're the coach at Notre Dame because there's a faction of players you go, oh my gosh, if we could just get these 3 guys who want to come here, we're going to win the national championship. But they can't get them into school. That's why Notre Dame was great in the 80s. There was exceptions for Lou Holtz. He got 7 or 8 exceptions every year that didn't really fit the criteria of the school, but they let them come because they wanted to be good at football. They don't do that anymore. So it's tough. So he said, the hell with it. I'll see you later. I am interested, though, because it does have NFL implications, but I'm interested to see if either one of those moves work. That to me, culturally, there's something there. Me as a Yankee who went down to Texas to play quarterback there, man, people had an issue. Well, you got a Yankee going to LSU, and now you got a Southern guy from Texas going to be a city slicker in USC. I'm going to be interested to see how both of those situations work out either way. But the effects in the NFL, I think, are real, to your point.
Yeah, it's almost like they got him flipped.
Yeah.
USC should have gone after Kelly,
right,
and LSU should have gone after Lincoln Riley.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I know. I really think this is something to watch for a little bit there because, hey, Brian Kelly is straightforward, to the point. He's a Boston guy. There is no, fluff here. And he might throw some 4-letter words out more now that he's away from Notre Dame and the Catholic Church. So you're going to have to deal with that. It's going to be a different aspect than, some of the guys they've had there at LSU. It's going to be more Nick Saban-ish. So we'll see how it goes, but it's going to be interesting. And I think to the point is the NFL has to start upping the ante too. Now, I do think NFL coaches, for the most part, are all making more money than what's on the books that we know about.
Not all of them.
Not all of them, but a good amount,
end.
right? The high end are all, if it says they're making $9 million, they're really making 11 or 11.5, and the $9 million will be guaranteed if they get fired, but the 11.5, 12 are what they get if they continue to have the job. But yes, it's got to go up a little bit for the pressure and the impact of that job, no doubt about it.
If you look at how the salary rates have grown for players over the last 50 years, and if we were able to get true and actual numbers for the last 50 years for head coaches, we would see that it's been a much steeper climb, a much greater climb for players than for coaches. And the NFL has done a good job of sort of colluding when it comes to,
yes,
especially entry-level coaches.
No doubt.
They have a way of keeping the numbers in line.
Right.
And are they actually colluding? Well, that's for the courts to decide if anybody would ever sue, and nobody's ever going to. That's one of the reasons why, for example, a Bill Belichick makes a hell of a lot more than what the league office officially has him on record as making, because these owners will find ways through other companies to supplement the pay, yes, and get it to a number that you don't want.
Right.
To be out there. You don't want, because it blows the curve and it makes it harder for the rest of the league to keep the coaches down. But now, and this is something I'm trying to get to the bottom of, Chris, because I was under the impression that these NFL coaching contracts are fairly ironclad. And even though you can't force a guy to stay, for example, at Jacksonville, who may want to go to Notre Dame, like an Urban Meyer,
right,
even though you can't force him to stay, you can prevent him from going anywhere else. That you either work for us or you work for no one. I had somebody tell me last night, and it may not be the case anymore, that there may be some flexibility in these contracts, not to move from NFL team to NFL team, but to ditch the NFL and go to college.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then everybody's in play, except for Mike Tomlin. We already know Mike Tomlin's
no
not.
doubt.
But
no.
Everybody's in play. John Harbaugh to Notre Dame. Now Notre Dame's going to have to dig deep because 2.7 ain't going to get it done.
No, it's not.
It's probably not going to get it done for Urban Meyer.
No way.
He's making a lot more than 2.7 in Jacksonville.
Definitely.
But some of these other jobs that pop up, Oklahoma, whether it's Cliff Kingsbury, or John Harbaugh, we could rattle off high-end NFL coaches that would go. Well, Sean McVay. Why not call Sean? Why are you calling Cliff Kingsbury? Call Sean McVay. Cliff Kingsbury failed in the Big 12. So this is fascinating to me because this may be the way in a strange, convoluted falling of the dominoes that forces NFL owners to pay coaches more.
I think it's a good point. I think it's very real. You're right. If there's that threat, I mean, again, it's even if you're in the NFL and that's your dream job and you're making $5 and a half a year, and somebody offers you $15 a year, like that's life-changing money. I'm all for like, hey, you want to be happy, you where you are. You're sacrificing $1 million or $2 million a year when you're making $5 million a year to be where you want. Okay, that's fine. But when you start to talk those kind of numbers, like it's just no brainer. Like if $15 million a year for 10 years or 9 years or whatever, and it's guaranteed, and you're kind of the king of your own world in college. Yes, I do think the NFL would have to be worried about it. And I think it's only going to take one of these big timers to go, and I think it'll open up their eyes a little bit. Like you said, a McVay, a Sean Payton, a Harbaugh, somebody like that, where I don't envision that happening because I think they're the type of guys I was explaining early on that are just they're football. They're not babysitters, but. Again, maybe I'd be a babysitter for an extra $10 million a year.
For $15 million a year?
Yeah.
For $15 million a year?
Shit.
Yes.
Yep. Sorry, I'm with you. I said
it.
Yep. Boom. I didn't even mean to.
It's funny. It's funny because as you were saying it, I was getting ready to say, I'll change their diapers too if I'm going to babysit
there you
for
go.
$15 million a year.
That totally just slipped out of my mouth because I was like, whoa, $15 million a year. That's how hard it was hitting my brain right there. Sorry.
We apologize.
Sorry,
now,
London.
We won't even wait to come back from break with a muted apology that we don't really mean. I'll go ahead and deliver the apology right now that I don't really mean. We're sorry for Chris's language.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.